We're taking a look at the navigation display's plan mode in this tutorial. Now I've got the aircraft sitting on a runway in Sydney Airport, runway 34 left. And if you remember, this ND has 4 different modes. We've already covered the approach mode. We have also covered the VOR mode. We know the map mode already with the waypoints and stations and ranges. And the last mode to take a look at on the display is plan mode. So this is where we generally check our flight plan. So we're going to have a quick look at flight planning to bring this display to life. Now on the flight management computer we need to press the RTE button, which stands for route, and you can see there's no origin or destination just yet. So we're going to go down here and request a flight plan, and we do that simply by pressing this button here. And I have some saved already, so we press load, and we're going to fly from Sydney to Brisbane. So press this button here, and the flight plan has been loaded. If you see anything down here, simply press the clear button to remove this message. Also notice that the message light has displayed. So when I press clear, this will extinguish and this field will disappear. Okay, so the plan has been loaded. You can see now that the aeroplane is sitting on runway 34L, 34 left. And if we look closely, we can see 2 white parallel bars. And I'm going to slew the aircraft off the edge of the runway here. And I'm going to go back into plan mode for the moment. And we can see that these white bars are displayed in plan mode as well. You'll also notice that there are white dashed lines coming out from the bottom of these parallel lines. Now these are lines that extend from the runway. I'll just turn around. From the center of the runway back for 14.2 nautical miles, and from the center of the runway forward 14.2 nautical miles. So very handy to line yourself up on the runway. So let's get the aeroplane back to the center here, or roughly back to the center of the runway. Alright. So if we go back to plan mode, we can also see this dashed line here extending out from the runway as well. Now notice when I zoom out that the range increases up to 640 nautical miles and back down to 10 nautical miles. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. You'll notice that the aircraft is sitting on the ground still, and we have a star up here. Now that star is magenta, and next to it is the word Cathay, and below it 4 dashes and the letter Z. I'm going to turn that off for the moment and just show you these waypoints. So the Cathay is magenta, so the aircraft will fly towards Cathay, turn right and fly towards the next waypoint called Shore. If I zoom out again, the next waypoint is called Entra, and Banda, the next one after that, and so on. Now if we come back over here to the left of the screen, we look at the flight management computer and we press the legs page. This shows us that our first point is called Cathay, and next is called Shore, and I'll just zoom out here. Next is Entra, so you can see this list is our planned route for the flight. Now notice there's a CTR indicator here on the flight management computer. That means center Cathay in the middle of this display. You'll notice there's a button down here that says step. So if I press step, the center is going to move down 1 to Shore, and this plan display is going to move to the next point, to the next waypoint, which is Shore. So I'll press step now. So you can see that we're centering the plan on the waypoint Shore, and it's also centered on the display. So we can step through the entire plan and check all of our waypoints all the way up to our destination, which is Brisbane Airport. So if I zoom out again, you can see the aircraft is parked here down at Sydney. So I just press step again in a slightly more expanded mode. You can see that we're stepping through the waypoints. So it's a really good way to check the plan and to enter the plan as well. So that is the plan mode on the navigation display. North is always pointing up. And let's just take a quick look at the symbols with the Z underneath the waypoint here. Now if the aeroplane is moving and we won't be flying it, I'll just slew the aircraft at this stage. Two things happen on this display. The first thing happens is that the time is displayed underneath the waypoint, which is telling me that 04:17, so 17 minutes past 4 Greenwich Mean Time, or UTC, which stands for Universal Coordinated Time, or Zulu, that's what the Z stands for. Z indicates Greenwich Mean Time. We will be overflying Cathay, or turning just before Cathay. The next waypoint we will hit at 26 minutes past 4, so you can see 9 minutes from here to here. At the top here, we can see that Cathay is the next waypoint at the time. The time's also displayed here, with the distance to go until that waypoint, 10.5, now 10.4 nautical miles. I'll just turn off the data display and zoom back in to the map. Now you'll notice that the aircraft will fly along the magenta line and turn to the right, but it won't actually fly over the waypoint itself. So the aeroplane will anticipate the turn. We'll just speed it up a little bit, and you'll see the aeroplane come into view, and it will automatically turn itself when it flies over that waypoint and then start heading out to the next waypoint. Now that's just me slowing the plane at the moment. If we go back into map mode, you can see the same thing here. There's a waypoint, the dashed white line extending out from the airport, and the waypoint itself. So let's just bring the aeroplane back to the runway. Now, to get the aeroplane to fly a heading, you remember we alter the heading bug up here. There's the heading. To fly a VOR, we alter the course bug. Now to fly a planned route, it's this button here called LNAV. So what I'm going to do is just get the aeroplane flying. Just get it off the ground. I'll engage the autopilot and we'll change level to 3,000 feet. And I'll just move this up to the top here. And just for this instance, I'm going to position the aeroplane and let it fly. I'm going to press the LNAV button. Now what that has done, now we know it's active, I'll get the gear up. That has told the aeroplane, the triangular symbol down here, to fly this magenta track. Now you can see it's off track, so it knows to turn to the left 30 degrees or close to it, and now it's turning right to intercept this magenta line and fly up towards Cathay. 250 knots is the desired airspeed. Now you'll see this curved line here. If I go and pause the aircraft now in slew mode, you notice that this curve has become smaller. I'll get the aeroplane flying again and the curve has become larger. This radius is adjusted based on the speed of the aeroplane. So if you're flying at a very, very high speed, the aeroplane will start turning about here around to the right. So it's called turn anticipation. There's no point flying over a waypoint and then having to turn around and try and intercept the outbound leg. It's more efficient for the aeroplane to fly and turn when it hits the waypoint here. So again, if I just hit slew, you can see the radius is smaller. Take it out of slew mode and the radius becomes larger. So somewhere about here where the magenta line starts to deviate is where the aeroplane will turn. So I know 2.5, 1.25 miles, which is roughly here, the aeroplane will turn. And when we get to the turning anticipation point, or within 0.25 nautical miles, the waypoint will change to white, which it has. The aeroplane will turn and follow this magenta track. So we'll just watch that happen. You notice the aeroplane's now turning. And over here in the flight management computer, shore is now the active waypoint. shore is displayed up here, the distance and the time. Now once the aeroplane flies past Cathay, it will remove the magenta line behind it and will join a line between Cathay and shore. So the aeroplane's now tracking to this magenta line. Let's change the view up there just for something different. And there we have this new outbound course. You'll notice also that the runway 34 left is still displayed. Go back into plan mode and you can see exactly what's going on. The aeroplane's now flying towards shore from Cathay. So rather than going into the flight management computer, I just wanted to show you the plan mode, and to do that we had to load up a plan, and you can see that it's also used in map mode as well. Press the data button and again there's our plan with the time information. I can press waypoints or stations or airports, and I can overlay most of the functions that I need to fly the plane on top of the navigation display. One thing that you may have noticed was a green arc here that we haven't covered yet. I'll just put the plane into an unusual altitude. Actually what I'm going to do is tell the aircraft to fly up to 7,000 feet, 7,100, 7,000, press level change and zoom out. And you'll notice that this green bar is predicting where 7,000 feet will occur. So we are here, this is halfway to the 10, so that's 5 nautical miles, so roughly 5 nautical miles time the aircraft will have reached 7,000 feet.